examination to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you want to raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Roberto, Mr. Shea, and all others present. I am Daniel Goodman. I'm an Assistant United States Attorney for the Central District of California, and I have also been appointed by the U.S. District Court as a commissioner for the purpose of taking evidence pursuant to a request from Mexico. These proceedings are being recorded. They're being recorded in two ways. First by videotape, and second by a court stenographer seated to my left. There's also an English-Spanish interpreter who is present, who is able to assist and is assisting. Mr. Roberto, you are not in custody. You are not under arrest. You have been subpoenaed to give testimony pursuant to a commissioner's subpoena dated July 25th, 1994. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes.
What I'd like to do first... One moment, please.
Just a motion of order. If the translator could speak up so that the defense lawyers from the other part can receive the translation also.
Yes.
Because they don't speak English.
I need him.
I see. Are we able to ask you to speak up a little? I know it may be difficult with simultaneous translation, but if you could speak up a little. Thank you. What I'd like to do first is go around the room and have each person state his name and affiliation for the record. And why don't we begin right here? If you could state your name and where you're from.
Licenciado Héctor Sergio Pérez Vargas, defensor federal de oficio del señor Mario Aburto Martínez.
Morgan Rhodes, volunteer attorney for the Center for Human Rights and Constitutional Law.
Carlos Holguín, General Counsel, Center for Human Rights and Constitutional Law.
Jorge Macellas,
Rubén Aburto.
Rubén Aburto. Cortés. Isabel Cheney, translator.
Peter Shea with the Center for Human Rights and Constitutional Law.
Bonifacio Sergio Rivera Aguilar, agente del Ministerio Público Federal, escrito al Tribunal Primero del Estado de México.
Marco Antonio Díaz de León, agente del Ministerio Público Federal, acreditado en el proceso. Se sigue a Mario Aburto Martínez y coacusados en el Juzgado Primero de Distrito en Toluca, Estado de México, y coordinador de asesores del señor Procurador General de la República.
Juan Miguel Ponce, cónsul para asuntos legales, agregado de la Procuraduría General de la República en Los Ángeles, California.
Eugenio Zafra García, abogado particular de los señores. Eugenio Zafra García, abogado particular de los señores
Private attorney for the gentleman.
Vicente Mayoral Valenzuela y Rodolfo Mayoral Esquer.
Vicente Mayoral Valenzuela. ¿Y el otro nombre, por favor?
Rodolfo Mayoral Esquer.
Rodolfo Mayoral
Esquer.
I think what we may need to do is ask for an English translation for the court reporter of all of the Spanish affiliations. So perhaps what we should do is start again over here and ask for a simultaneous English translation. If you could repeat, please, sir.
Repita su nombre, por favor.
Licenciado Héctor Sergio Pérez Vargas.
Héctor Sergio Pérez Vargas,
Pérez Vargas. Defensor federal.
Federal Defense.
De oficio.
Excuse me.
Public Defender.
Public Defender.
Adscrito al Juzgado Primero de Distrito.
I'm sorry, I'm unable to hear him because he's talking in your direction. ¿Me puede hablar a mí, por favor, porque no tengo problema de escuchar?
Adscrito al Juzgado Primero de Distrito.
First District Adjunct Court.
Toluca, Estado de México.
Toluca.
Estado de México.
Mexico State.
Y a su vez defensor del señor Mario Aburto Martínez.
And defensor of Mr. Mario Aburto Martínez.
licenciado Bonifacio Sergio Olivares Aguilar,
Bonifacio Sergio Olivares Aguilar, attorney at law,
agente del Ministerio Público Federal,
agent for the public ministry, federal public ministry,
adscrito al Juzgado Primero de Distrito en el Estado de México,
First Judicial District in the state of Mexico,
con residencia en Toluca.
with residence in Toluca.
Sí, usted, licenciado.
Licenciado Marco Antonio Díaz de León,
Marco Antonio Díaz de León, attorney at law,
agente del Ministerio Público Federal,
agent of the public federal ministry,
encargado del proceso
in charge of the process
que se sigue
which
a
follows
Mario Aburto Martínez y coacusados
against Mario Aburto Martínez and co-defendants
en el Juzgado Primero de Distrito
in the First Judicial District
del Estado de México,
of the state of Mexico,
con sede en Toluca,
located in Toluca,
y además
and besides,
coordinador de asesores
coordinator of attorneys
del señor Procurador General de la República,
of the federal prosecutor of the Republic.
Excuse me, it's not federal prosecutors, attorney general.
Thank you, sir.
Juan Miguel Ponce Edmondson,
Juan Miguel Ponce
Edmondson,
Edmondson,
cónsul para asuntos legales,
counsel for legal matters,
agregado de la Procuraduría General de la República
adjunct with the General Attorney of the Republic
de Los Ángeles,
of
California.
Los Angeles, California.
Eugenio Zafra García,
Eugenio Zafra Garcia,
abogado particular
private attorney
de los señores
of the gentleman
Vicente Mayoral Valenzuela
Vicente Mayoral Valenzuela
y Rodolfo Mayoral Esquer,
and Rodolfo Mayoral. ¿El apellido de nuevo, por favor?
Esquer, el último, Esquer, E-S-Q-U-E-R, Esquer.
I believe we have three gentlemen
S-Q-U-E-R.
in the back.
My name is licenciado Jorge Ricardo García Villalobos.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm unable to hear you.
Jorge Ricardo García Villalobos,
Jorge Ricardo García Villalobos, attorney at law,
vicecónsul
vice counsel,
de Asuntos Legales
legal matters,
y adjunto del agregado
and general attorney,
regional de la PGR,
regional of
de la Procuraduría,
the prosecutors,
de la Procuraduría General de la República.
Excuse me.
General
Assistant to the League Attaché of the Attorney Generals of Mexico.
Assistant to the League Attaché of the Attorney General of Mexico.
Yes, we should do this.
Yes, we should.
Yes, sir.
Miguel Ángel Sánchez de Armas,
Miguel Ángel Sánchez de Armas,
de la Asesoría de Comunicación
Communications Liaison
de la Subprocuraduría
of the Prosecutor's Office
Especial,
Special,
de Subprocuraduría Especial,
of the Special Prosecutor's Office.
licenciado Carlos Torres Ramírez,
Carlos Torres Ramírez,
agente del Ministerio Público Federal
agent for the Public Federal Ministry
y director general
and General Director
de apoyo al proceso
of substantiating the process or assisting the process
que se sigue
which is followed
en el Juzgado Primero de Distrito
for the First Judicial District
en el Estado de México,
in the state of Mexico,
con sede en Toluca.
which is located in Toluca. Su primer nombre de nuevo,
Carlos.
Carlos.
All right. The record should reflect as well that we have two video camera operators and, of course, the court stenographer. Mr. Aburto, your testimony has been requested by the Office of the Attorney General of the Republic of Mexico. at the request of the judge of the First District Court for the State of Mexico, sitting in the city of Toluca. Said request was issued on June 15, 1994, and recorded within Joined Criminal Investigations number 41/94 and 44/94, brought up against Mario Alberto Martinez for his alleged responsibility in the commission of the crimes of intentional homicide and carrying a firearm without a license, and of other persons for their alleged responsibility in the commission of the crime of intentional homicide. Mr. Alberto, Mr. Shea is your attorney, is that correct?
Yes.
I believe Mr. Shea has a statement that he would like to make for the record.
Yes, thank you. I'd firstly like to thank the Commissioner for providing us with the opportunity to make a brief statement before the questioning of Mr. Aburto commences. And I would also like to welcome our distinguished colleagues from Mexico who came to the United States for this interrogation. And as I have advised the Commissioner in writing before this date, Mr. Rubén Aburto will decline to testify today for several reasons. These are reasons that in separate correspondence we have also advised high officials of the Mexican government over the past several months. Before explaining those reasons, I would like to say that Mr. Rubén Aburto is eager to testify under the appropriate conditions, and we believe that he does have testimony which is relevant to the investigation of the assassination of Mr. Pelosi. However, at this time, he will decline to testify. First, because he is the father of Mario Aburto and has a right or a privilege, as we understand it, under Mexican law, not to provide testimony that may be used against his son. We cannot think of any questions relevant to this investigation which would not involve his son, and there are therefore no questions that we can think of that he will be willing to answer today. The second reason why he will decline to testify is because he strongly believes that any procedure in which he would testify should be a public procedure. That is a procedure where his family members could attend, and at least some members of the press. Could be present. Of course, he is not suggesting that they would be able to participate in the process, but he feels they should be allowed to observe the process. The third reason why he will not testify is because for the past several months we have written to the Attorney General of Mexico, we've written to the judge in this case, we've written to the Special Prosecutor Miguel Montes, we've written to the head of the prison where Mario is detained. We've written to President Salinas, And in all of those letters,
Y en todas esas cartas
we have indicated
hemos
that
indicado de que
the family has three
la familia
requests.
tiene tres pedidos.
First,
Primero,
that one or more family
que
members
uno o más de uno miembros de la familia
be allowed to visit with Mario.
puedan visitar a Mario.
Second,
Segundo,
that 2 or 3
que dos o
attorneys
tres abogados
from the United
de
States
los Estados Unidos
be allowed to visit with Mario.
pueden visitar a Mario.
And third,
Y tercero,
that
que
2 doctors,
dos doctores
independent of the government,
independientes del gobierno
be allowed to examine Mario.
puedan examinar a Mario,
One, an
uno,
internist,
un internista
and the
y el
second,
segundo,
a psychiatrist.
un psiquiatra.
We have received no
Nosotros no hemos
response from the
recibido
Mexican government
ninguna respuesta del gobierno de México
to those requests,
a esos pedidos,
which we believe under both Mexican law and the international law
los cuales nosotros creemos que bajo la ley internacional y la ley de México
are very reasonable
son muy razonables
and should be approved.
y deben de ser aprobados.
The only response that we
La
have received
única respuesta que nosotros hemos recibido
was a telephone call from
fue
Miguel Montes
una llamada telefónica de Miguel Montes
about 1 week before he resigned,
una semana antes de que él saliera de su puesto,
in which he stated
en cual él dijo
that our requests were perfectly reasonable
nuestros pedidos eran completamente razonables
and that he would
y que él
work with other Mexican
iba
government officials
a trabajar con otros oficiales del gobierno de México
to arrange for approval of our request.
para arreglar que aprobaran nuestros pedidos,
But about 1 week later, he resigned.
pero una semana después él se fue de su puesto.
We would also object
También tenemos una objeción
to this process,
a este proceso,
at least as long as
por lo
the
menos
family members and
los
the
miembros
press
de la
are being
familia
excluded.
y la prensa han sido excluidos,
As long as those people are being excluded,
ya que están excluyendo a esas personas.
we also would object to
También
the
tenemos
large
objeción
number of different people
de las
representing
personas diferentes y los grandes
agencies
números de personas representando
who are
las
here today
agencias diferentes que están hoy aquí
from the government of Mexico.
del gobierno de México.
Article 16
Artículo 16
says the accused,
dice que el acusado,
the counsel for the defense,
los abogados de la defensa,
the victim or
la víctima
aggravated party,
o la persona que fue herida
and or his legal representative
y el representante legal
are the
de
only
esa persona
persons
son las únicas personas
that can be present
que
in the
pueden
proceedings
estar presentes en un procedimiento
carried out within a
que
preliminary
sigue
investigation.
en una investigación preliminaria.
In conclusion,
En conclusión,
Mr. Aburto,
el señor Aburto,
Rubén Aburto,
Rubén Aburto
and his wife,
y
other
la
members of the
esposa de
family
él y otros miembros de su familia
are eager to
están
assist this investigation.
deseosos de ayudar a esta investigación.
They are prepared under the
Están-
proper circumstances to tell
Están
the truth.
preparados bajo las circunstancias de decir la verdad.
We believe the testimony they have
Nosotros
is
creemos que
relevant
el
and
testimonio
should
que
be
ellos
obtained
tienen viene a punto y debe de ser obtenido
by the Mexican government
por el
under
gobierno mexicano
appropriate circumstances.
bajo circunstancias apropiadas
And they are prepared to provide that
y ellos están
testimony
preparados para dar ese testimonio
if the reasonable requests
si
that they
los
have
pedidos
put forward
razonables que ellos han presentado
are agreed to by authorities from the government of Mexico.
las autoridades del gobierno de México se ponen de acuerdo de dar esos pedidos.
And finally, I would just
Y últimamente
recommend
recomiendo
or invite
o invito
the members who are
los
here from the
miembros
Mexican government
que
today
están aquí del gobierno mexicano hoy
to meet with us, the lawyers for the Aburto family,
de encontrarse con nosotros, los abogados de la familia Aburto,
later today or tomorrow
más
morning,
adelante hoy o quizás mañana por la mañana,
because perhaps if we have such a meeting,
quizás si tenemos esa junta,
maybe within a short time,
quizás en un periodo corto de tiempo
we can reach agreements on the
podemos
requests of the
llegar
family
a un acuerdo en los pedidos de la familia
and move forward to
y seguir adelante
obtain the testimony.
para obtener el testimonio.
And I thank the Commissioner for allowing me to
Muchas
make that
gracias al comisionado por dejarme.
Thank you, Mr. Shea.
Gracias, señor Shea.
Let me inform you, Mr. Aburto, that based on the provisions set forth in Mexican law, you are not obliged to render your testimony or sworn statement as you are the father of the defendant Mario Aburto Martinez. Do you wish to make a statement, sir?
No.
Are you invoking your privilege under Mexican law to refuse to testify because you are the father of the defendant Mario Aburto Martinez?
Yes.
Mr. Aburto, some of the questions that I would ask you relate not to the events of March 23, 1994, but to general matters about your son, Mario Aburto Martinez. Are you refusing to answer those questions as well on the same grounds?
Yes.
Some of the questions that I would ask you relate to other persons who may or may not have been involved in the shooting of Luis Donaldo Colosio Murrieta. Are you refusing to answer those questions as well on the same grounds?
Yes.
Some of the questions I would ask you relate to contacts that you or members of your family may have had with the media. Are you refusing to answer those questions as well on the same grounds?
Yes.
Mr. Aburto, given your answers to those questions, I have no further questions to ask you, and I now declare these proceedings closed. Oh, one moment.
I was letting you to finish because I would like to ask you.
I'm sorry. I believe there may be some additional questions.
No preguntas, es...
Why don't we take a break, perhaps a few minutes, and then we will resume.
Thank you.
Honored visitors from Mexico has a statement that he wishes to make, and as the Commissioner, I deem it appropriate that he be permitted to make such a statement. I allowed Mr. Shea to make a statement, and I deem it appropriate that a response be allowed.
Consideramos
We consider
como Ministerio Público
as a
Federal
public federal ministry
muy respetables
very respectable
las opiniones
the opinions
del abogado defensor americano
of the American defense attorney
que me antecedió en el uso de la palabra.
who went ahead of me before I took the stand.
Sin embargo,
However,
es importante precisar
it's important to know
algunos aspectos
some aspects
de legalidad
of legalities
que son
which are
específicamente
specifically
aplicables
applicable
en esta audiencia.
in this hearing.
Punto y signo. En primer lugar,
In the first place,
se está actuando aquí
we are acting here
en virtud de un tratado de cooperación
in the virtue of a cooperation agreement
entre los Estados Unidos
between
mexicanos
the United States of Mexico
y los Estados Unidos de América
and the United States of America,
sobre asistencia jurídica mutua.
giving each other mutual jurisdiction.
Y en la cláusula o artículo primero
And in the first article or first clause
de dicho convenio,
of this agreement,
claramente se indica
it is shown clearly
que dicha asistencia
that said assistance
tiene, entre otros fines,
has other ends.
la persecución de los delitos
The persecution of
en el
crimes
procedimiento penal
in a penal procedure
de acuerdo
in accordance with
a las reglas de la parte requirente,
of the rules of the required part,
en este caso
in this case,
las reglas jurídicas mexicanas,
the Mexican judicial laws,
coma, esto, claro está,
comma, this is clear,
respetando los derechos
respecting
humanos
human rights,
que tienen dos testigos
which the witnesses
y
do
que
have
son similares
and which are similar
en los estados de derecho
in the state of rights
como los correspondientes
as the corresponding
a
ones
Estados Unidos de Norteamérica
of the United States of
y
North
Estados
America
Unidos mexicanos.
and the United States of Mexico.
El tratado mismo establece
The agreement itself establishes
en el punto 3 de dicho artículo primero
point 3 of first article number 1
que dichas reglas mencionadas
that the pre-mentioned laws
deberán
should
ser cumplidas
be complied with
por la parte requerida, o sea,
by the required part,
las
or
autoridades aquí
in other words, the authorities
de Estados Unidos
of the
de
United
Norteamérica.
States of North America.
Pero además, el
And besides,
inciso A
in subsection A
del punto 4
of point 4
del mismo artículo
of the
primero
same first article
comprende dentro de esa asistencia
understands that within that assistance,
la recepción de testimonios
the reception of testimony,
como en el caso así ocurre,
as is occurring in this case,
sin dejar de considerar también
without not noting or considering
que el artículo séptimo
that the seventh
del propio
article
tratado
of this agreement,
en su parte segunda
in its second part,
establece
establishes
textualmente lo siguiente:
textually the following:
cualquier reclamación
any reclamation
de inmunidad,
of immunity,
incapacidad o privilegio
incapacitated, or privilege
establecido
established
conforme a las leyes
with regards to the law, in
del
accordance
Estado
to the law
requirente
of the required state,
será resuelta
shall be resolved
exclusivamente
exclusively
por las autoridades competentes
by the competent authorities
de la parte requirente.
of the requiring part.
Punto y seguido. Consecuentemente,
Point and next excuse me. Following,
se tomará el testimonio
the testimony shall be taken
en el estado requerido
in the required state,
y este será enviado
and this should be sent
a la parte requirente,
to the requiring part,
en donde dicha reclamación
where said reclamation
será resuelta
shall be resolved
por sus autoridades competentes.
by its competent authorities.
Punto.
Point next in order.
De acuerdo con estas normas
In accordance with these norms
del tratado aludido,
of the alleged agreement,
Excuse me, for the record, I don't think translation is being exact with legal terms. It's a treaty and there's some other words that have been changed by the translator, just for the record. Thank you.